I'm Jess, and I'm your Sunday school teacher, and I am so excited to be your teacher this year. Even though it's a little different, we are still going to make it a super fun year, learning about God and sharing stories, learning Bible verses, maybe some stories that you've heard, maybe some not as familiar, and we're going to make it a super fun year, and hopefully we can get to know each other better and find ways to really make this work until we can get back into the classroom, because I love to be back into the church, and it's so much easier to be able to see faces and communicate back and forth. So one thing that I am going to do, and I'm still tweaking on how this is going to work, each week I will send out an email, and it'll have the link to the YouTube video, and then it'll also have a memory verse and an activity. I'm going to just kind of do a little tally chart for our class, and if you can have your parents send to me that you did it, or a picture of the activity that we do, some will be worksheets, some will be actual like little experiments, and then just them saying that yes, you did it, and then a way to do a Bible verse, that you memorized it. We'll just have some fun little incentives as a class if we get so many verses memorized, or little checklist. We'll have some fun little prizes along the way, and it's kind of a way that we both kind of go back and forth, and just by doing some of these activities, it helps us also to remember what we talked about, and it's not just, oh, it was a Sunday school story. So I'm super excited, especially with everything going on. I think it's just kind of a great reminder to us that in all of the chaos, that God is always with us, and that now more than ever, it's sometimes hard to stand up and share the love of God, but how very important it is, especially during these times. So there will be more details on that and keeping track. I'm trying to get creative, so if anybody has any good ideas, I'm up for anything, whether it be maybe a Zoom class just to kind of talk and kind of set up a Zoom to just say it, or whatever works. I'm totally flexible with that, so we'll just keep working with that. So this week we are going to start with the story of Esther. Esther was different, but Esther stood up for her belief in God and what was right, and is truly one of the heroes in the Bible. So what we're going to do is I'm going to read the story today. Our Bible verse, the memory verse, the first one, is from this, and it's Esther 4, verse 14. And that Bible verse is, "Who knows if perhaps you were made queen for such a time as this." And that's so true after when reading this story. So if you can memorize that verse, Esther 4, chapter 4, verse 14, it is included in the email as well. So I'm just going to read the story, and I just find the Spark storybook is just puts it in such a good format. So we are going to read the story of just Queen Esther. So I will read it to you here. Once there was a young girl named Esther. Her cousin Mordecai worked for the king. When Esther's parents died, she went to live with her cousin in the palace. Esther learned new things, wore dazzling clothes, and grew into a beautiful young woman. When the king saw Esther, he said, "I am so happy. I want you to wear this crown and be my queen." Now Esther and Mordecai were Jews, and many people did not like Mordecai or the Jewish people. But the king was a wise man, and he always listened to what Mordecai and Esther had to say. One of the men who did not like Mordecai was a very proud man named Haman. One day the king said, "I am giving Haman a special job, and because he is so important, everyone should kneel down and bow down to him." This made Haman happy because he thought a lot of himself. But Mordecai knew that God was the only one he should bow down to. When Haman saw that Mordecai wouldn't bow to him, he was so mad. And when he learned that Mordecai was a Jew, he was even madder. "This isn't right," Haman said. "I am going to punish Mordecai and all of the Jewish people." Haman saw that the king loved Esther and that he listened to Mordecai, and this also made him angry. Haman knew that they were Jews, so he planned for all of the Jews to be killed. But Esther was smarter than Haman. I have found out something important, Esther told the king while they were eating at a banquet. She told him of Haman's plan to kill all of the Jews. When Esther told the king that Mordecai was her cousin and that they were both Jews, the king wasn't mad at her. Because the king loved Esther so much, he gave Mordecai the job that Haman had before. "Here is my ring for you to wear," the king said to Mordecai. "Write a message to all of the Jews in my name and seal the letters with my ring." The letters that Mordecai wrote went to people all across the land, and they celebrated with music, feasting, and dancing. "Hurrah for Queen Esther," the people cheered. "Because the king loves her, we are saved." So Esther, especially back in Bible times, being a woman and also being a Jew, it was kind of a tough place to be. And yet Esther followed her gut and what she knew in her heart to be right, and followed that because her love for God was so strong. So how many of you, every day we face choices? Some choices are simple, like when you get up in the morning, if there's snow on the ground, well, depending on if you're super hot-blooded, you'll wear warm clothes. If it's warm outside, you'll wear shorts or cooler clothes. When you get up and you have breakfast, are you going to eat Rice Krispie cereal? Are you going to eat peanut butter toast? Simple decision. It's what you like. Do you like peanut butter? Well, someone who has a peanut allergy may like peanut butter, but due to the severity of what can happen to them if they have peanuts, they cannot like peanut butter. Then it comes, if you can have peanut butter, is it peanut butter smooth or peanut butter crunchy? All these decisions can seem like major decisions, but compared to others, they're really not that big of a deal. Have you ever had to make the decision where you decide to be nice and become a friend to a new student at school and take a risk at some of your other friends not thinking it's okay? What about standing up to the bullies at school when someone's not being nice and is bullying someone? The choice to stand up to that bully and telling them to stop, knowing that it's the right thing to do. Have you ever had to make a choice between a right or a wrong when all your friends have already made the wrong choice? Peer pressure, doing what everyone else is doing, is so easy to do. So easy to do, and it happens. And it's just learning from that and growing from that. And it can be very difficult, especially to stand up to some of our friends. But if we're in a position where we know they're not doing something right, we need to say, are they making me be the type of person that God wants us to be? Making the right choice, never easy. But that's what makes it so cool and heroic. Like what Esther did was the right choice, and it affected not just her but tons of people. It saved them from being killed just because that they were Jewish, and she knew that God would not think that that was okay. And in this time of what she did was so big and saved so many lives, and it could have cost her everything when she admitted to the king that she was Jewish, but she trusted her heart and trusted her love for God, and the king believed her and trusted her and backed her up. And that's, if being a hero was easy, everyone would do it, right? Just like kind of Mr. Incredible. If it was being Mr. Incredible all the time, everybody would be doing it. There'd be superheroes everywhere. But it's not always easy. But that's when we ask God to give us the courage, boys and girls, to be a hero, to do what is right in our hearts. Because at the end of the day, when you do what's right, it's a lot, you will just feel so much better than having that guilt And it can be hard, and it's not always easy. But just like Esther, God put each one of you here on purpose for a purpose. And he made each one of you so special and strong. And I hope, especially now, boys and girls, with everything at school being different, that you know that you are a child of God and you are loved every day, and that sometimes if you can be that leader and show other people that, you know what, this is just it's different right now, but it doesn't have to be bad. And when you have God at your side, it always helps. Ask him for the wisdom and courage to make the right choice every time. Ask God to make you a hero, because I know you can. And so I'll leave you with that for this week. Think about that this week. If there was a time where you stood up or you did something that you knew that God was with you and God was helping you, it's really cool, and it happens far more often than you think. So I hope you would enjoy that story. I've attached a word search for this week, and the Bible verse again is Esther chapter 4 verse 14. Who knows if perhaps you were made queen for just such a time as this? And boys and girls, it is your time. You are special, and may your choices that you make follow your heart, and make those choices. And then, God is always there for you, and I am here if you need anything. So again, if you want to, you can complete the word search. If your parents can text me a picture that you finished it, or have you say the Bible verse, whatever way. Just kind of a fun little thing I thought we'd do, just to kind of see as a class how many times we can do this, and just know that those little stories branch out and they reach out to our friends, our family, and we're kind of like Esther. And you, again, God made you on purpose for a purpose. So have a great week, and we will see you next week. Hopefully hopefully YouTube likes me a little better, so it goes a little smoother, but hope you have a great week ahead, and we will see you next week.